Good afternoon and welcome to this live stream at the Roller Derby World Cup 2018 in Manchester. If you are joining us on the live stream, coming up for you at 4 o'clock is a hugely exciting event. We have a Junior Expo game between Team Kingfishers, who you can see in green warming up on the track right now, and Team Dolphins. These teams are composed of junior age skaters, so up to 17 years old, hailing from all different parts of the world. And we are really excited to bring you this game to showcase the future of senior roller derby. I'm the Golden Snatch, and I'm joined by Bobby Narco.
Hey
Narco,
now.
are you excited?
I am so excited for this junior roller derby exposition.
And it is clearly going to be a popular event. The stands are pretty packed.
Yeah, they're brimming.
I mean, why wouldn't you be excited? This, as I said, is the future of derby. We have some skaters here on track who have been skating almost since before they could walk. If you look to the left of your screen, you can see Jamie Dodger. That's screen number 40. Now, Jamie has been skating since he was 18 months old.
Holy cow.
I don't think I was even walking then, and so he has got a lot of skills in those skates of his, and he is not the only one. You're getting a nice little shot there of the Kingfishers warming up. At 10 to 4, we will be seeing some skate outs, so that's when the teams roll around the track with a skate out song to pump them up, to get the crowd excited, and so we can introduce the rosters.
You are listening to Derby Duck Productions. We are glad to have you with us. If you have not seen roller derby before, we'll give you a little brief tutorial. It is a race on roller skates with points. Each team has a jammer. The jammer will wear a star on their helmet, and the first time the jammer goes through the pack is to establish what's called lead jammer, and that's a special status. We'll tell you more about that later. But after the first pass, every subsequent pass, the jammer scores 1 point for every opponent that they lap. There's also a helmet cover with a stripe on it. That is the pivot. The pivot can become the jammer, but is ordinarily a blocker. Everybody else on the track without a helmet cover is a blocker. Blockers play offense and defense simultaneously. They try not to be a point. They try not to get passed by the opposing jammer. At the same time, they try and punch holes in the other side's defense to get their own jammer through.
I mean, not literally, not literal punching, which is a good point for us to mention penalties that you may see being called on track. You will see a whole crew of officials, skating officials, who are in black and white stripes. Right now, they are at the bench for Team Dolphins, and they are just checking their kit. You can see them just in the top right corner of your screen, tapping their wheels, their knee pads, their wrist guards. Roller derby is a full contact sport. Just because we have young players here does not mean you will not see some full force hitting. They are all trained and safe to do so.
Yeah, spectacular junior athletes out here. I think that you're going to forget that you're watching juniors maybe 1 or 2 jams in.
Oh, for sure. I mean, some of these skaters come from skating backgrounds. They may have parents who are roller derby players or have just started junior derby in various leagues around the world. And you are going to be highly impressed by not just the skill, but also I think the strategy and the teamwork of these young players. I'm really excited to watch it.
As am I. You were talking about some of the penalties. You're not allowed to trip. You're not allowed to push. You're not allowed to shove. But you can hit. You can hit with your hips. You can hit with your shoulders. You can hit with your backside. So there will be lots of contact on the track. However, in order to lay a hit on another skater, you have to be within 20 feet of the pack. The pack is the densest concentration of skaters. So if you look at someone and they don't throw a hit, that's probably because they're too far out in front or too far up behind, and they don't want to get an out-of-play penalty.
It can be a little confusing to watch. So if you're the first-time derby viewer with us today, try not to worry yourself too much about remembering all these rules. We will talk you through as the game goes on. But that is why we have such a big crew of officials in the stripes. There will be 7 altogether, which is standard for a roller derby game.
Plus, we have non-skating officials. We have the officials that are wearing black T-shirts with white logos on them. They will be keeping track of the penalty box. They will be keeping track of the score. They will be keeping track of the penalties, and they'll be keeping track of the time. So there's a huge contingent of officials involved, 7 skating referees, an alternate skating referee who will be communicating with us about official timeouts and official reviews.
And we also have, you may see some shots of them shortly, some people in yellow t-shirts. They are our volunteers at this roller derby World Cup. They have been working tirelessly for the last 3.5 days to run this event smoothly. You may see them going around doing track repair. The track is taped down, so you see the boundaries on the floor are yellow and black tape. This is quite, well, it's extremely important. This is where the players must stay. If a player is knocked off the track, either to the infield, so the oval within the track, or the outfield, so the larger oval outside, they must reset behind the skater who took them off. So if you're watching and you're getting confused about that, that's an important thing to remember.
Also on the right of your screen, you're going to see, you can faintly see it, there's a jammer line that crosses across the oval, and then at the front of that there's a pivot line, and that's for the start of play. All the skaters have to be within those 2 lines, except the 2 jammers have to be on the closer side of the jammer line.
It looks like we're going to get underway very shortly. So you've just got a nice shot of our refs warming up around the outside. Our refs, of course, extremely accomplished skaters, or our skating officials, I should say, who are going, I'm sure, as excited as I am to be involved in this game.
The necessary gear is a helmet, a mouth guard, wrist guards, elbow guards, knee guards, and roller skates. These are classic roller skates, 2 wheels in the front, 2 wheels in the back. Toe stop is optional.
Although I don't think I've ever seen a derby player not use their toe stop, so just while we're waiting.
Adjust the noise. Yeah, you need to again. Thank you so much. I just switched you off.
Yeah, it sounded like a hailstorm. Are we still live?
Let's stop now. Just while we're waiting for skate outs to take place, I'm just going to run you through a few of the leagues, the skating leagues that these young players come from. We will try to mention them several times throughout, because if you're listening in and you have a child or know a child who you think might be interesting in getting involved in roller derby, it is not just an adult sport, it is the fastest growing sport in the world, and junior leagues are popping up everywhere. So from Team Dolphins, we have skaters from the Blackland Teenage Terrors. That's in Belgium, so if we have any Belgian viewers listening. We also have the Hereford Poisonberries represented on track. Roller Derby Calais in France, Sheffield Steel Junior Rollers, and Luleå Roller Derby in Sweden. The coaches for Team Dolphins are all from the Hereford Poisonberries.
And on the Kingfishers, we have skaters from Copenhagen Troublemakers, the Eastbourne Roller Derby Newborns, the Rose City Rollers Rosebuds, the Dash, which is the Devon All-Star Hitters, and the Lincolnshire Bombinos, the juniors for the Lincolnshire Bombers. The coaches for coaches are from Dash, Rebellion Roller Derby in Bedford, and England Men's Roller Derby. They have an assistant coach from England Men's Roller Derby.
And speaking of Rose City Rollers Rosebuds, I'm sure any of you who are familiar with roller derby, that name rings a bell. So one of the players from Team Kingfishers, that is Square Knot, has actually traveled all the way from America to be part of this Junior Expo bout. They have traveled the furthest out of any junior player.
Portland, Oregon is Rose City.
Exactly, yes. So a huge, huge honor for them to be here. Some of Rose City's skaters have represented the USA and various other teams this weekend. So very exciting to have a junior player from that team in our mix.
And Rose City always a powerhouse in the Women's Flat Track Derby Association.
Absolutely. So I'm sure we're going to see where that comes from. Lauren Much, for those of you who have been watching this weekend, an absolute force to be reckoned with on the track as a jammer for Team USA, was a product of Junior Roller Derby herself. So keep an eye out for 122, that's Square Knot on Team Kingfishers, who are playing in the green.
And just to give you an idea about how well junior roller derby is already impacting the adult leagues, in the league that I announced for our Gotham Girls Roller Derby, we already have 6 or 7 skaters that have moved up into the Gotham Girls from the Gotham Girls Junior Derby program.
And yeah, Gotham Roller Derby, of course, one of the top leagues in the world, also very strongly represented across several national teams this past weekend. But I think this game is really going to shake up the crowd. It's been a long few days. There's been a lot of very intense, high-powered roller derby at the adult level, at the national team level. And this, I think, is a chance for people who maybe have been a little stressed or a little tense watching these high-level games, get a real chance to remember the joy of derby and what it's all about. The people skating on this track in a number of minutes are just going to be an absolute joy and privilege to watch, and I'm sure it's going to give me serious skating goals of my own. I will be thinking, how on earth are they doing that?
Yeah, we'd also really like to thank Rainy City Roller Derby. They've been our hosts for this 2018 Roller Derby World Cup, and they have just been phenomenal. Tremendous hosts. Get involved with your league anywhere, wherever you're listening. I bet there's a roller derby league nearby, and if there's not, you should start one.
I mean, the way I started, I just typed in roller derby and then the place where I lived, and it brought up the closest place to me, and I've never looked back. So again, especially if you're watching and you know younger people who want to get involved, Google Junior Roller Derby, find out some more. You never know, or start your own league.
Now, we are excited to be here in Manchester, England. This is the first Roller Derby World Cup to take place outside of North America. The first Roller Derby World Cup was in 2011 in Toronto, Canada. The second was in Dallas, Texas in 2014. And now here we are in 2018, the third Roller Derby World Cup ever. And treat to have it in Europe.
And I think a real important part of it being held in Europe is that the growth of roller derby in Europe has been astronomical over the last few years. You know, roller derby started out in the United States, but since then it has continued to spread across the world at an exponential rate. So I think having it represented so strongly here in Manchester by Rainy City Roller Derby is a real testament to how quickly the sport has grown in the UK and across Europe. Of course, though, the big names in roller derby are still holding strong in terms of the rankings this weekend. After this Junior Expo bout, we will be seeing the semi-final take place between England and Canada, and then the final between USA and Australia. So USA has always been the ones to watch. They have won both previous World Cups, but Australia a real contender this year.
Yeah, Australia won the Women's Flat Track Derby Association Championship in 2017.
Well, it wasn't Australia, but it was an Australian league.
Yes.
The first league not from the USA to win the WFTDA Division 1 championships.
They're out of Victorian, or it's Victorian Roller Derby, and a lot of the skaters on Team Australia are Victorian Roller Derby skaters. So they have that cohesion from working together as a team. They are going to be a strong contender against USA Roller Derby.
And the reason we're talking about that is because, of course, after this Junior Expert game, we do want you to stay with us on the Derby Duck live stream. Or we are also being streamed at BBC Sport, a huge privilege for our sport.
Now you can hit the red button if you get tired of hearing our voices.
And we're hearing some real noise from the crowd, which means that we are about to get underway with our skate outs. So we're going to run through the rosters with you as Team Dolphins take to the track. So you get a shot there of the team in pale blue lining up, and I'm going to run through the rosters with you. So we have 01 TNT, 03 Wince Pie, 10 Roller Girl, 143 and the captain Marnie move over, Miss D Roller, that's number 261, 2708 the Naki Boy, 31 Mona Witch, 342 High Velocity, 345 Nihilator, 57 Boneshaw, 6-6 Little Demon, 6-8 Skolabel, 7 Mad Drow, 7105 Serial Killer, 8 that's Abby, 888 No Limit, 999 till the end. And the coaches are Barb Wired, Elderberry, and Tristan Shout. So that is Team Dolphins in the pale blue, lined up in the top right hand of your screen.
And skating for Team Kingfishers in the Kelly Green. Number 040 is Violent Vilda. Number 10 is Jamalish. Wearing 11, that's Rollersaurus Rex. 122 is Square Knot. Number 13 is Tiny Temper. Number 162 is May Cause Mayhem. Number 2012 is Salty Siggy. Number 22 is Wizzy. Number 221 is Lady Macbeth. Number 2505 is Crush'ems. Wearing number 3, the Captain, Hess. Wearing number 32, Rebel. Wearing number 40, already mentioned, Jammy Dodger. Number 47 is Maleficent. Number 5 is Blondie. Number 808 is Hasta La Vista. And number 934 is Nutter. Coaches for Team Kingfishers are Hairraiser, Dr. Stevel, and Unleasher.
And you see Team Dolphins taking to the track and high-fiving their opponents. That's a really important tradition in roller derby as well. It is a fiercely competitive sport, but ultimately we leave it all on track. We are good sports people, and that's why junior derby, I believe, is such an excellent showcase. It will teach the skaters from a young age how important it is to be a good sport and to really appreciate your opponents, because without opponents, you don't have a game.
Slight different style during the intros. Blue team, the Dolphins, decided to skate out during their intros. Kingfishers are going to wait until the whole team is introduced, then they'll take a lap, show some love to the other team.
And they look so happy to be here. You don't have a shot right now. There we go. We do have a shot of the back. I mean, what a huge opportunity for these skaters. These skaters are pretty experienced. It's not their first time bout for any of them by any means, but it probably is the biggest audience they've ever skated in front of. I mean, it's the Roller Derby World Cup.
It's a world stage. It's an international event.
Oh, and there you see Annihilator fan on the edge of the track. Annihilator is a wonderful skater. She actually has a blog on Facebook. You can check it out if you search 345 Annihilator. That's Niyalator. It's a blog that I follow, and it's about her experiences as a junior roller derby player. And it is honestly the sweetest and most humbling thing you'll ever read. So please do check that out. And now we see the Kingfishers take to the track, high-fiving their opponents.
There is going to be a Junior Roller Derby World Cup this year as well. That's going to be in July in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA.
So what we will see now, good people who are listening to us at home, is we will see 5 players from each team, line up on the track. As Narco previously mentioned, the ones with the stars are the ones you need to watch immediately. They are the point scorers. They will be trying to get past the other players without incurring penalties in order to become lead jammer.
And out on the jammer line right now, we have No Limit for the Dolphins and Nutter for the Kingfishers.
And you notice that Nutter is wearing the number 934, and that's because they are a huge Harry Potter fan. So 934 represents 9 3/4.
Here we go, we are underway.
So right away you see 888 No Limit drawn back, but then re-enters the track. Oh, does pick up a track cut. You see
that's the head referee, Mr. Rock, with his arms crossed in front of him. That indicates a track cut. So lead jammer is going to go to Nutter from the Kingfishers.
She checks in with her bench, giving a thumbs up. The bench will be able to help them understand the strategy they need to play on track by various hand signals.
So when one jammer is on the track and another is in the penalty box, we call that a power jam. And taking advantage of the power jam right now is Nutter.
The reason it's called a power jam is because obviously the jammer is at an advantage because their blockers can focus solely on playing offense for them. But now the power jam is over. No Limit is back in play on track in the pale blue for the Dolphins.
Now you notice that 5 points were tallied there, but there were only 4 skaters on the track. That's because the jammer's also going to get a point for any skater that's in the penalty box, in the 5-second skate gear penalty box. So you'll get all the points if you get through the pack, even if there's skaters in the penalty box. We have a track cut called again on No Limit, making their second trip to the 5-second skate gear penalty box. So the Power Jam will continue for Nutter and the Kingfishers.
And Nutter just really taking advantage of this Power Jam is being told to call off the jam. That's something we haven't explained right now. So when the lead jammer decides they want to end the jam, or if they want to end the jam early, they do so by repeatedly tapping their hips with their hands.
And the lead jammer is the one who gets through the pack initially cleanly the first.
And otherwise, if they choose not to call the jam, or if they themselves incur a penalty sending them to the box, they would lose their lead jammer status. And that would mean the jam would run to the full 2 minutes.
Now the corollary to a power jam is a power start, which we have here, which is when one jammer starts on the track and one jammer starts in the penalty box. We have a track cut called on Lady Macbeth, the jammer for the Kingfishers, and that's going to spring No Limit. She might have actually served her full penalty. If she has not, the other jammer gets to serve a discounted penalty, but that's No Limit picking up lead jammer right now. She's the first to get through the pack cleanly.
So we're seeing quite a lot of complicated rules already coming into play. We will do our best to keep you up to date with those. Right now we see No Limit pushing past the front of the pack, and the referee puts his hand up with 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb to indicate 5 points gained on that pass.
Now the reason why you saw some of the blockers throw their hands in the air was because they were warned by the ref that they were too far out in front, or they were warned that they were out of play. So they're like, well, I'm not hitting anybody, so as not to draw a penalty for that. There was a penalty assessed for one of the blue team for not making a pack. So they got a failure to reform penalty at the back of the pack. So that will send a blue skater to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
And on this skate line now, we have Jamie Dodger for the Kingfishers lining up against TNT for the Dolphins. I believe that both of these players have met on track before. Both very aggressive and talented skaters.
We got a forearm penalty called on the blue jammer. That's TNT heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
And it is Jamie Dodger who is called lead, and he comes round with a huge grin on his face. Important to mention as well at this point, since Jamie is lead, that of course roller derby is a gender-inclusive sport. Both of these teams have people of all genders represented. It is not exclusively a women or a men's sport. People of all genders can play. And that is partly what makes it such a wonderfully inclusive sport from a very young age.
One of the advantages of being lead jammer is that you get the ability to call off the jam early.
But Jamie Dodger is not looking to do that right now. He tries to crab around the outside, is taken to the outfield, and therefore has to go back on track behind the players who took him off. But he decides to call off the jam instead.
Yeah, TNT had completed her initial pass, and so they decided rather than giving TNT the opportunity to score, they would call off the jam.
And we now have 1-4-3. That's Marnie Move Over, the captain for Dolphins, lining up against 2-0-1-2 Salty Siggy for the Kingfishers. And it is a quick lead for Marnie Move Over. On your screen, you see Salty Siggy still working their way through, and they get through the pack. That's what's known as their initial pass, when the jammer makes it out of the pack for the first time.
Scoring pass completed and the jam called off by Marnie Move Over, the captain of the Dolphins. 4 points picked up. A small slam, we kind of use bridge terms. A grand slam is all the points, and a small slam is all the points save 1. So 4 points is all the points save 1, and a grand slam is 5 points.
And on your screen, of course, you can see that Kingfishers do have a lead right now. 19 points, place 13. But in roller derby, that can change very quickly. It
Very
sometimes
quickly.
takes the space of one jam sometimes to change that differential.
We saw a 50-point jam already at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup, so anything can happen. We have a multiplayer block. You're not allowed to link arms or any other appendages to hold the jammer back. So a skater went to the penalty box on a multiplayer block. We also have a forearm block sending 2 green skaters to the penalty box.
At the moment, we have Blondie jamming for the Kingfishers against the Naki Boy for the Dolphins. Blondie with the lead status. And both jammers out of the pack.
It's a 4-point pass for the Naki Boy.
Naki Boy has overtaken, and the Kingfishers are light on track right now, and a beautiful little apex jump there from the Naki Boy. Blondie attempts the same, doesn't quite land in bounds, forced to reset. And we can see the action happening as Naki Boy makes his way past the pack.
All 5 points awarded. That is a grand slam. 13 points picked up by the Dolphins. 4 points picked up by the Kingfisher in that last set of whistles. And we have a 26-23. That's a lead change.
And we'd just like to take this opportunity very quickly to thank Sisu Mouthguards, the official mouthguard of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
If you're just joining us, you are at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. You're at Derby Duck Productions, and this is an exposition bout of junior roller derby. The Team Dolphins and the Team Kingfishers. We're in official timeout right now. The score is 26-23.
And just while we're taking this time out, I'd like to tell you quickly about the Girls on Track Foundation. Did you know that by age 14, girls are dropping out of sports at twice the rate of boys?
That's horrible. Someone should do something about that.
Well, Girls on Track Foundation thinks that roller derby can help change that stat. You can learn more at girlsontrackfoundation.org. Please do check them out.
All right, back to the action on the track. Green jammer is number 11, Rollersaurus Rex, and the white jammer is Abby, number 8.
And what a great work from there by number 11, Rollersaurus Rex, with some footwork on the inside line, getting them lead jammer status. Rollersaurus Rex, incidentally, is Jamie Dodge's cousin. And Jamolish, who is also on track or on the roster for Kingfishers, is Jamie Dodge's sister. So we've got a skating family represented in the green here.
We have a blue skater heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box for skating out of bounds.
And in the meantime, Rollersaurus Rex calls off the jam. Now, when there is a skater seated in the penalty box at the end of a jam, that means they have not yet served their full 30 seconds of penalty time. Therefore, they will start the jam in the penalty box, serve their remaining time before they can re-enter track.
Kingfishers look to have 4 lead jammers already. The Dolphins have had 2. Jammer penalties, Dolphins have 2, and the Kingfishers have 1. Golden Snatch, who's out on the line?
We have high velocity for the Dolphins, and I think that is 2012. Salty Siggy picking up a quick lead status for the Kingfishers, but my goodness me. Number 342, High Velocity, is certainly showing their speed right now as they catch up with Salty Siggy.
All green at the top of the pack, all blue at the back of the pack. Both teams concentrating on defense.
And Salty Siggy round the apex. In the meantime, High Velocity resets, makes their way through the pack.
Both jammers scoring now.
I mean, let's just talk for a minute about how impressive this game is right now. Both teams showing some seriously great skills in terms of the speed at which they are skating.
I've already forgotten I'm watching juniors. To me, this is regular roller derby.
I mean, it's just roller derby, isn't it? Like, we call it, it's the only junior roller derby because of the age, but roller derby is for everyone.
Right.
That's the gorgeous thing about this sport. We have number 31 lining up for Team Dolphins. That's Mona Witch. And I believe that is 934 Nutter up for jamming again for the Kingfishers.
Last set of whistles, the Dolphins scored 7, the Kingfishers scored 6, puts the score at 36-29 with just under 20 minutes left to play in the first half.
And that's a real testament to how evenly the teams are matched so far in this game, but it is a lead for the Dolphins, and some great speed out of the pack there from Mona Witch on their first jam for the Dolphins.
blockers are waiting for the jammers over there in turn number 2. We number the turns. Tell you a little bit more about that later.
And on your screen, you can see that Nutter is being reset to the back of the pack, but is being issued with, no, I apologize. I thought they were being issued with a penalty, but they were just given a little bit of a warning.
There's a Matt Drow going to the penalty box for the Dolphins on a forearm.
And Nutter swoops around the Naki boy to make it round 4 far. Oh no, doesn't quite pick up those points. The points have to be obtained by the first whistle. So the jam is whistled off by a series of short blasts. As soon as the first whistle goes, that is when the jam is ended. And therefore, even if the player just manages to scoot their hips past, if it's not before the whistle, it's not a point.
So a double grand slam there for the Dolphins makes the score 46-29. Still plenty of time left to play. Out on the jammer line, we have Wince Pie for the Dolphins and Lady Macbeth for the Kingfishers.
And we should wish a happy birthday to Wince Pie, who actually turned 13 on Friday. So what an amazing way to celebrate their birthday by jamming at the Roller Derby World Cup. And it is a lead jam for Wince Pie. On your screen, we see the pack coming out of the apex onto the straightaway. That's the straight part of the track. And all players now snarled up in that pack. It looks very chaotic. It probably is. And there's been what we call a star pass to the pivot. That was the player with the stripe on their helmet.
That's number 040, Violent Vilda, who is now the jammer for the Kingfishers.
So a jammer might pass the star if they are too exhausted to keep going, because it's exhausting slamming into players.
Penalty box is full, so the Dolphins jammer went to the 5-second skate gear penalty box, but there were no seats. So when a seat opens up, that blocker will report to the penalty box. Until then, they have to remain on the track and keep skating, keep blocking. And now a space has opened up. So number 8 is reporting to the penalty box. That's Abby.
So just a reminder, penalties are 30 seconds, no matter what penalty is incurred. And now we have an almost full pack on track, so 4 skaters apiece. But now the jammer you will have on your screen in just a minute. You see at the top left of your screen now, the green jammer coming around, engaging with the blue blockers. And Wince Pie calls off the jam. That was a very long jam.
Yeah.
Ran for almost the whole 2 minutes. And a huge score there.
Yeah, 14 points picked up. That's probably, I believe, the highest scoring jam of the game, yes?
Yeah, we'll have that confirmed for you in just a second. Yes, it is, in fact, the highest scoring jam at the game so far.
Thanks to our crackerjack producer, the great Smacksby.
For those stats.
So I'll talk to you a little bit about the turns. The first turn you hit is going to be the one, turn 1, then turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, right before you get back to the jammer line. We call standard racing terms the home stretch, the back stretch, both of them sometimes referred to as the straightaways.
And we have Misty Roller for the Dolphins for the first time jamming, but it is Jammy Dodger once again for the Kingfishers with the lead. And the pack speeds up going into turn 2. We have had a star pass to high velocity of the Kingfishers, not the Kingfishers, sorry, the Dolphins. A star pass, as we said, is when the pivot, this jammer can hand off the star to the pivot. This must be done legally, hand to hand. You can't throw it. And it allows sometimes for points to be scored when the pivot becomes the active jammer. I promise you it's not as confusing as it sounds. If any of you folks are listening to this the first time, we're seeing a replay on the screen there of that star pass, and that was 3-4-2, high velocity taking the star there. And now we have Rollosaurus Rex lining once up once again for the Kingfishers.
And on the line is number 01 for the Dolphins. That's TNT trying to explode through the pack. Forearm penalty called, though, on TNT. They will take a seat in a 5-second skate gear penalty box. Oh, no. Oh, I thought the green jammer was heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box as well, but they were forced to the outside. They're going to have to re-engage from the back. The reason you have to re-engage is because you can't advance your position from the outside. If you do, you get a cut track penalty.
So we're seeing the pack come into turn 3. Rollosaurus Rex tries to take the outside edge. Just takes the toe stop out. We have number 3-1 for the Dolphins. Mona Witch going to the box on a forearms.
Yeah, forearm penalty.
That means that they pushed the opposing skater with their forearm, which you're not allowed to do. You can push with your shoulders or your hips, but not actually use force from your forearm.
We have a direction of play penalty coming in on green number 2505. That's Crushham's.
In the meantime, Rollosaurus Rex round for lead jammer.
Score is now a numerical palindrome, 63-36 in favor of the Dolphins.
Oh, I do enjoy it when you throw me those facts. We've had, we saw 70 seconds expire before lead was assigned in that last jam to Rollosaurus Rex. A great testament to the blocking powers of both teams. It can take just a matter of seconds for a jammer to get lead status, although you can go the full 2 minutes with no lead jammer because they must escape the pack. Just very quickly, we would like to tell you about S1 helmets. S1 helmets are the official helmet of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. They are also the sponsor for this track, the S1 track. The S1 Lifer helmet gives the best fit and best protection and is made for roller derby.
We got a low block called on green number 40, the pivot. Our jammers are Abby and Jamalish. The last jam saw 6 points for the Dolphins and 4 points for the Kingfishers to put the score at 69-40 with just over 12 minutes left to play in the half. Lead jammer has gone to number 8, Abby.
In the meantime, though, Jamalish speeding around, showing great skating skill. They are from a great skating family background, but Abby just lapping their opposing blockers like they were born with skates on their feet right now. Oh, a lovely little turn on the out from Jamalish for 4 more points. This is a great jam. We're seeing some high speed and control and some very skillful skating.
Great positional blocking. Making sure that the lanes are all closed. Jammer tries to go to the outside, close the outside. Jammer tries to go to the inside, close the inside. Guess what? Jammer tries to go up the middle, close the middle.
Let's bring you a score update right now. It looks like we have another, not a palindrome, but one of those funny scores that I enjoy. 77 to the Dolphins in blue and 44 to the Kingfishers in green.
Yeah, great poker hand. Pair of 7s, pair of 4s.
And it's a crowd favorite. Annihilator is on the jam line. Though she is little, she is fierce. You do not want to underestimate any player on this track because of their size. In fact, in roller derby, sometimes being small gives you an advantage. Not always, but it can do. In this case, Annihilator is denied by Nutter of the Kingfishers, who has picked up lead jammer status. Annihilator still working through, and the crowd goes wild as Annihilator makes it out of the pack.
Got a direction of play coming in on the Kingfishers pivot, on the Dolphins pivot. That's number 143, Marnie Muvova, the captain, heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box on the direction of play.
And the reason Annihilator is such a favorite is not only because she is one of the smallest players in the track, but just look at that replay. Look at that quick step footwork.
Fierce athleticism out there, tremendous skating.
And she loves roller derby. Again, I mentioned her blog earlier, 345 Annihilator on Facebook. She is the most humble, sweet person. I remember reading in one of her blogs about a game where she got lead jammer, and she said, but it wasn't me who did it, it was my blockers who made me look good. And ain't that just the sweetest?
Nice coaching by the Kingfishers out there, pointing out that there was a skater in the box, so they got an extra point added on that. That score is now 77-46 in favor of the Kingfishers. Golden Snatch, tell me who's jamming.
It's the Naki Boy who currently has the lead for Dolphins, but in the meantime, Blondie is skating around, and Naki Boy does call the jam.
Gets all 5 points, so that's a grand slam for the Dolphins. 82-46 is the score. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first half. You are watching the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup coming to you live from Manchester, England on Derby Duck Productions.
And when we talk about the jammers calling the jams, you've got to understand, if you're not familiar with roller derby, that it is a very strategic thing to do.
We have a timeout now by the Kingfishers.
Each team can call 2 timeouts per half. Is that? Oh no, we're not playing that format.
3 per game.
3 per game. I do apologize. And that gives them a minute to just talk and reset. And it gives us a minute to talk about some more of our sponsors.
Well played, Golden Snatch. Well played.
I mean, see how I just slid in there. I'd like to talk about Roller Derby City, which is a skater-owned and operated merch and uniform company, which is UK-based but ships worldwide. We supply uniform and merch for teams, leagues, roller derby brands, and events. And they have provided all the merchandise for this Roller Derby World Cup, as well as individual customized items such as scrimmage tops, officials gear, and referee shirts. Being skater-owned and operated means supporting the roller derby community is at the heart of what we do, and we've been proudly supporting local roller derby since we began in 2010. So that's Roller Derby City. They have done a fantastic job kidding us all out this past 4 days. So do check them out.
Some statistical analysis from our tremendous producer, the great Scatsby. The Fishers have had lead jammer 7 times. The Dolphins have had lead jammer 5 times. The Dolphins have had put 10 different jammers out on the jammer line. That just shows you the versatility. Most of the adult skater leagues only put 3 or 4 jammers out on the jammer line. The Dolphins have put 10. The Kingfishers have put 8 different jammers out on the jammer line.
Yeah, and as you say, that is unusual to see in adult or senior roller derby, but we've got a little bit of a jammer battle on the jam line. A light pack on track with 1 blocker apiece in the box for each team, and a lead is picked up by Lady Macbeth of the Kingfishers.
Abby's forced to the outside. She's going to have to re-engage.
And Abby is through the pack, is followed by Lady Macbeth, who has now picked up 4 points on their first scoring pass.
Can get another one.
Oh, and we have a bit of a jammer hit there. Abby takes a massive grin there. Now, this is something we should talk about as well. So when jammers are allowed to hit the other jammer at any other point on the track, you're going to see that in this replay right now. So the jammers are the only players allowed to do that. Otherwise, you would get what's called a blocking out of bounds penalty. So if you are a blocker, you must only engage with skaters, you must only hit skaters if they are in the range of the pack. But jammers have a unique ability to be able to hit anywhere on track as long as it's legal, of course.
And because the scoring jammer was able to pass the other jammer before the other jammer completed their scoring pass, they did pick up an additional point, so that was a 5-point pass for the Kingfishers. Score now 82-52, a 30-point lead for the Dolphins.
And Jamie Dodger once again with lead for the Kingfishers in green. High velocity jamming for the Dolphins. Does now make it out of the pack, but Jamie has picked up another 5 points, a grand slam.
And all the skaters are on the track. The 5-second skate gear penalty box is empty, so we have 5-on-5 roller derby action going on right here on this polished concrete floor here at the Event Center in Manchester, England. 9 points, scoreboard change. Briefly, 8 points picked up by the Kingfishers. 1 point picked up by the Dolphins. Score now 83-60. Here come the Kingfishers. Just not too long ago, they had a huge deficit, closing the gap.
And we have just under 7 minutes left in this first half. This is a full-length roller derby bout, which is played in 2 halves of 30 minutes each. When timeouts and official reviews are taking place, the clock does stop. And wow, we have a jammer race on our hands. It is the Kingfishers, Salty Siggy with lead, but Monowich overtakes, and Salty Siggy makes the decision to call off the jam. That's a strategy used to prevent the other players scoring points.
Sure, when the jammer in the lead is not the lead jammer, you're almost always going to see a call off.
For sure, unless you are really confident that you can get your speed up and lap them. But this is why this jammers are often really working on their speed, because they have to contest with the speed of their opponent to a great extent sometimes.
All right, heading out on the jammer line now for the Kingfishers is Blondie. For the Dolphins is No Limit. And Blondie picks up lead jammer.
But it is No Limit who's out in front. So Blondie with the lead status. No Limit has escaped the pack.
Oh no, a back block called on Blondie. Blondie heading to the penalty box.
So we now have what is called, I can't remember if we've mentioned it, we have a power jam. We have mentioned a power jam. So when a jammer has lead status but is issued a penalty, they lose that lead status.
I think that lead status might have been rescinded on the penalty, because lead has been awarded to No Limit.
Oh, it has, forgive me. And No Limit is just running with it. Absolutely demonstrating lovely, smooth skating style right now. And just putting up points on the board like nobody's business. Attempts the apex jump, doesn't quite land it, but does use that opportunity to call off the jam. Just while we wait for this next jam to start, I would like to talk about Kaya Skates. Kaya Skates, quad roller skates, plates, and accessories for roller derby, lifestyle, park skating, and dance. It's time. Kaya-brand.com. This is how a skate's supposed to feel. Try the Onyx boot now and see for yourself. It's your time. Kaya-brand.com.
So the Dolphins picked up 12 points on that last jam. That puts them just 5 points shy of the century mark. Kingfishers were shut out, so the score is 95-60. Our jammers right now are Marnie Muvova and Lady Macbeth.
I love that we are getting to see some great roller derby names in this Junior Expo game as well. Marnie Muvova with the lead for Dolphins. Roller derby names, you can choose yourself. Some skaters choose to skate under their given names, but a lot of derby players will choose to have a name that reflects another part of their personality, a hobby, something they love.
If you saw Lady Macbeth remove the helmet cover, that is because the other jammer had been awarded lead, so there was no downside in taking off the helmet cover, and you can kind of sometimes trick your opponent into thinking, oh, they're not the jammer, so it's called a star stash sometimes. They hide that jammer cover, or they remove the jammer cover. Also, you have to remove it to pass it to pivot, so it gives you the option to do that.
However, if you remove the star cover, you are not eligible to score points. So if you take it off and make your first pass through the pack, your initial pass, that is fine, but you must put it back on before you come back around to the pack, otherwise you are not eligible to score.
You're not scoring, and you're not eligible to get lead jammer if you have the star cover off as well.
Some great footwork there from TNT of the Dolphins on the in to pick up lead, and we're seeing Rollosaurus Rex coming into that second turn, making it out of the pack.
4 points were picked up by the Dolphins on that last jam, so this scoring pass will put them over the century mark. Got a track cut calling. Who's it on? It is called on green, number 122. That's Square Knot, heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
A great takeout there on the left of your screen by number 3-1, Monowich, who just edged Rollosaurus Rex out on a toe stop, holding them back, preventing them from scoring. 4
points for the Dolphins does put them over the century mark, 103. 2 points for the Kingfishers puts them at 62. We have 2.5 minutes left to play. Now, if a jam goes its full length, that will be 2 minutes. And we have had some 2-minute jams here. Otherwise, the lead jammer can call off the jam. Doesn't have to, but has the ability to.
So we have Jammy Dodger on the line for the Kingfishers, a wise decision. He is a very strong jammer, and he picks up lead status once again. I believe that is 100% lead status for Jammy, or close to. I can have that confirmed shortly. And Abby is on a cut track penalty.
No, being waved back on. That penalty was called off by the head referee, Rock. The head referee does have the ability to override penalty calls from the any other referee.
So Jammy now working their way on a scoring pass, forced to reset. In the meantime, Abby through the pack for 4 points.
Got a forearm penalty coming in on Jammy Dodger. So this will go the full 2 minutes. This will be a 2-minute jam. When the lead jammer goes to the penalty box, they lose the status of lead jammer and the ability to call off the jam.
I think that's the first time we've seen Jammy sit in the penalty box, so it does happen. You know, it is a risk sport. It is played at high speed. Great work there from Abby, just sweeping past their opposition on the out. A player can accrue a total of 7 penalties before they actually foul out of the game. So 1 or 2 is fine. If you find yourself racking up some more, that starts to get a little bit dangerous.
The coaches keep track of that, and you'll get fewer jams.
For sure. Abby looking a little tired as they come round on another scoring pass. Jammy Dodger now back in play. All players on track with 30 seconds left of this jam.
A 56-point lead for the Dolphins now.
And Jammy Dodger with a great apex jump, showing all of their years of skating experience. And Jammy Dodger is now on a power jam with Abby sitting in the penalty box.
Yeah, we call the inside lines at turns number 2 and turns number 4 the apex. They are very frequently jumped, and it's perfectly legal if you can clear it and if you start inbounds and land inbounds. That is a perfect apex jump. Wow, 19 to 14, 19-point jam. Is that the highest jam of the game, Smaxby?
I think we will have that confirmed. Surely it is.
It is indeed.
So we are having a official review. This is when the officials get together to talk about maybe penalties or things that might have been incurred, and it can be called by the bench of either team. Let's bring you an update on some of the stats. So the Dolphins have had 9 lead jams. Kingfishers have had 11. So that is interesting because it's not reflected in the score. Dolphins have quite a significant lead, so that's great testament to the Kingfishers who are to the Dolphins.
I think that might have to do something with the jammer penalties, though. The Kingfishers jammers have sat in the box more than the Dolphins jammers have.
Just while we have that official review going on, I'd like to talk about Roll Line. Roll Line is the tailored gear fit for your needs. It is the Italian skating experience since 1999. Be sure to check out Roll Line on Facebook and Instagram for the latest offers. You can do that at #CrewRollLine.
If you are just tuning in, this is the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup on Derby Duck Productions. We are about 1 jam away from halftime over here on the S1helmets.co track. We have the Dolphins versus the Kingfishers, and this is a junior roller derby expo. 124 points for the Dolphins, 76 for the Kingfishers, so a 48-point lead for the Dolphins.
And you notice on your screens, at the bottom right, it says P1. That's the period clock. So that shows you how much time there is left in this half hour of play. Now, each team gets 1 official review per half. And if they win that official review, so if the referees, if the officials agree with what has been said, they retain that review. But if they don't, they lose it and cannot call another one that half. So actually, quite a sensible time for the bench to call this official review, because even if they do lose it, we're going to start the next half very, very shortly. The first half is nearly over. So they might as well use this time to let their players reset themselves slightly before the last jam of the period.
You can use an official review to contest points. You can use an official review to contest the clock. You can use your official review to challenge a penalty that's been assessed to your team. You can use an official review to request a penalty be imposed on the other team.
And this is why it's important that you have a knowledgeable bench crew. We actually have some skaters from various different teams helping out. I can see one of Team Scotland's players in the top left of your screen. They are wearing tartan trousers and standing on the edge of the track, functioning as mirror bench. So they can see what the bench is saying to their players and mirror that for them. Let's bring you the results of that official review. So the Kingfishers team was requesting a track cut on the Dolphin jammer in that last jam, but the referees, the officials, have said that the no call stands. So the Kingfishers do not retain their official review for this period, but that doesn't really matter at this point. Solly Siggy for the Kingfishers with lead. And Abby out of the pack also. Both jammers taken to the floor coming into turn 3. They're up.
Abby had been in the penalty box on to start the jam, so it was a power start for Salty Siggy.
Okay, meanwhile, both jammers pushing, and great eyes there from Salty Siggy sees an opening on the in, but Abby also round. We have a bit of a jammer race.
Yeah, the Dolphins pivot had her sized up, but too far out in front, couldn't lay on the hit, or they would have got the out of play penalty.
And the pack now speeding up. They are doing this to prevent the jammer from passing the players and therefore getting the points. And Salty Siggy makes the decision to call the jam. We are in halftime, folks.
4 points picked up by the Kingfishers there, makes the score 124-80 at halftime.
So what an amazing first half for this Junior Expo game between Team Dolphins and Team Kingfishers, really showcasing the very best of not just of junior roller derby, but of roller derby. I mean, the spirit and the skill on track is absolutely unbelievable right now.
Nothing but the best here at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. We're going to go into halftime on behalf of the Golden Snatch and the Great Gatsby. This is Bobby Narco. Come on back and join us for the second half. I'm Bobby Narco here. I'm going to do some statistical analysis for you, thanks to our producer, the Great Smacksby. The Kingfishers have had 11 lead jams. The Dolphins have had 9. Both teams are equal on jammer penalties. I apologize if I misspoke before. Seemed like the green team was in the penalty box a lot more, but no, they're both the same, 3-3. The biggest jam of the game so far for the Dolphins is a 21-point jam. And the biggest game of the day so far for the Kingfishers was a 14-point jam. The longest streaks, very short streaks. The Dolphins have had 2 lead jams in a row several times. Kingfishers have had 3 lead jams in a row. So fairly even roller derby, at least in terms of the statistical analysis, with everything in mind except the score. That is a 44-point lead on the board, roughly a 3-2 margin. Really some tremendous roller derby. It's just as the Great Smacksby pointed out to me, the blue team has just been making more passes. They've been getting around the track more times, and that means more points. So more passes for the blue team. You got to credit their blockers for that. That's they're holding the green jammer from completing those passes, and they're opening up lines for their own jammer to make more passes. Anytime a jammer does something awesome, there's usually a blocker to credit for that. About a minute and a half left to go before we start the second half of this game. This Junior Expo at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. Great Smacksby going to join me on the mic for just a second. Say hello, Smacksby.
Good evening, Derby Universe. I'm the Great Smacksby. I will be playing the part of the Golden Snatch while we are waiting for her to return.
Just about a minute left to play. What were your impressions, Smacksby, from the... I mean, you gave me all the info, so I've stolen all of your ideas already. What more insight can you shower us with?
Well, honestly, I think it's the thing we got to take away from that first half is that what you're watching on the track right now is good, solid ABC Derby. It's tight, it's controlled. That is what we've got to remember looking at Junior Derby. These kids have been playing for so long. They are playing to a similar level as the national teams we've been watching all weekend.
And the national teams that we've been watching all weekend, the best of their individual nations. 38 different nations represented here. Additionally, teams from the Baltic and Israel made demo appearances. They're not included in that tally of 38. So some wonderful roller derby going on. There's also a team indigenous representing the indigenous peoples from all over the globe. That choose not to be affiliated with any particular nation, but their own indigenous nation. So, second half is about to get underway. Out on the jammer line for the Kingfishers is Violent Vilda. On the line for the Dolphins is Annihilator. And halftime is over. Annihilator thought that the jam had begun.
We did have a short official timeout called by the timekeeper there, hence the confusion. But we are now underway. One Kingfisher's blocker still in the bin. Annihilator's going to push out in front there against that wall of green.
And now the 5-second skate gear penalty box is empty. Violent Vilda forced to the inside, has to re-engage, and that gives Annihilator the opportunity to pick up that lead jam call on the backstretch.
That's right. They got a good stretch of space now between them and the pack. They're going to try to get some points. Meanwhile, their defense in the blue is going to want to hold that jammer, give the Dolphins a chance to really extend that lead. But slowly pushed out of play. The Kingfisher jammer now eligible to score.
Now, sometimes you'll see the pack go in retrograde a little bit. That's if a blocker knocks the jammer out of bounds. They want to decrease their position to make it harder for the jammer, to make more distance for the jammer before they get that pack. That's why you'll sometimes see the pack or a skater going the wrong direction and a jammer trailing them going the wrong direction on either the outside or the inside. That's because they've been forced out of bounds. So 3 points for the Dolphins on that last set of whistles, 2 points for the Kingfishers, makes the score 127-82. I'm Bobby Narco, joined by the great Smacksby, and the Golden Snatch is back. We are here at the Event City in Manchester, England, at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. One jam underway into the second half of this Junior Expo. Out on the jammer line now, we have TNT for the Dolphins and Rollersaurus Rex.
And Rollersaurus Rex with some gorgeous footwork there, but taken to the out. And it is TNT round 4 lead. Rollersaurus Rex makes it through. Oh, with a lovely hit out.
Got an elbow penalty on the skater that's leaving. That's number 2708, the Nacky Boy. All blue at the top of the pack, all green at the back. Nice apex leap.
Oh, doesn't quite land that in bounds, but they do realize it and they reset.
Yeah, as long as you correct your mistake quickly, you will not get that cut track penalty. However, had that jammer tried to continue on, they would have picked up a cut track penalty. 2 points on that last set of passes. Total of 6 for the Dolphins, 2 for the Kingfishers, 133-84. What's going on, Snatch?
We're just seeing a replay there of that failed apex jump, and now we are back to the jammer line with number 8, Abby, for the Dolphins, and I think that is Lady Macbeth. Yes. Number 221 for the Kingfishers.
You are correct, Golden Snatch. All right, we are underway. One Kingfisher, one Dolphin in the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
And it is Lady Macbeth with lead. Abby also out of the pack for the Dolphins.
So the pack was a little bit split apart. That's why you saw the referee throw both hands in the air. They were saying there's no pack. Immediately you saw the pack coalesce. And the hands went down, the skaters could block again. But in a no-pack situation, you're not allowed to block. Out of play being assessed, maybe a failure to reform on the green pivot.
And the pack, Abby working on a 2-wall at the front. They do make it past for 4 more points.
That is Blondie in the 5-second skate gear penalty box on the failure to reform.
And we have a cut track issued on Lady Macbeth, who is seated in the penalty box right now, leading Abby on a power jam. We will run this jam to the full 2 minutes, therefore, as Abby did not have lead status. We're seeing a nice offensive sweep there from Abby's blockers in blue to get them through for 5 points. You see there the green pivot re-entering play and rejoining their wall as Abby comes into the pack between turns 1 and 2. Abby skating around for 5 more points. A big jam so far for the Dolphins. Lady Macbeth back on track. You can see on your screen.
Out of play block picked up by the Dolphins pivots. That's number 888, No Limit. Down they all go in turn number 4. Back up again. The resiliency of these athletes is incredible. A high block is issued. A high block going to number 2708, the Nacky Boy. So there will be 2 blockers for the Dolphins in the penalty box to start the next set of whistles. Looking at the points, 23 points on the board. It's 156. And 12 points for, 13 points for the Kingfishers. They're flirting with the century mark. Score 156-97 with just under 25 minutes left to play in this game.
And on your screens there, you just saw a quick replay, and we have some time to tell you about Roller Derby Elite. Roller Derby Elite, level up your game. Our boots are like pillows for your feet. Make your mom proud, wear Roller Derby Elite. Roller Derby Elite is the proud sponsor of Team USA Roller Derby and is the brand that invented the sport. Speaking of USA Roller Derby, you'll be able to see them take to the track later in the final against Team Australia. And we're having a nice shot there of the jammer line, high velocity there for the Dolphins, and 934 Nutter for
little dance contest.
We love a dance contest on the jammer line. So 934 Nutter is going up against 143 Marnie Muova, the captain for the Dolphins.
All right, everything seems to be according to Hoyle. Scoreboard showing 156 to 97. 24 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the game. Was that 23-point, Smacksby, was that 23-point jam the highest jam of the game? It was. 23 points picked up there, the highest jam so far. And representing a sixth of the Dolphins' score. Who's jamming right now, Snatch?
Jamming right now is Nutter. I've got a soft spot for Nutter since we're both absolutely obsessed with Harry Potter. And they are lead for the Kingfishers. In the meantime, Marnie Muova also out of the pack and eligible to score for the Dolphins.
Penalty coming in on the backstretch. Waved off.
Oh, lovely bit of footwork there from Nutter on the in to pick up more points. And it's a great sweep round by Marnie Muova.
Out of play penalty being signaled. That is number 10 on the Kingfishers, Jamalish. Elbow penalty coming in on number 342. That's high velocity. The penalties coming fast and furious right now. There are as many referees on the track as there are skaters.
Marnie Muova round for 5 more points. And Nutter hot on their heels.
Nutter picking up 4 points themselves.
Lovely little turn there from Marnie Muova, who is just showcasing some great footwork and control here. Nutter comes up against the Naki boy, takes them on. Toe stops on the apex for 4 more points.
You saw the blue blockers strung out there, one after the other, with a little bit of space in between them. That's so that they can all stay within a close enough distance of each other that they're all still in play. Sometimes referred to as a string of pearls or stringing out the blockers. It keeps everybody in play, and that is why you'll see that particular strategy. This might be the highest scoring combined jam of the game. We've got a 16 versus 17, and they're still scoring.
And Nutter, I think, is going to just have that edged out slightly. Yes, 21-point jam for the Kingfishers. That is now almost, it's a very high scoring jam.
Yes, one of the highest of the game. And 37 points in that jam combined. 172 to 118, 22 and a half minutes left to play. If you're just tuning in, you are watching the Roller Derby World Cup, the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup, brought to you from Manchester, England. We're at Event City. I'm Bobby Narco. I'm joined by the Golden Snatch, and our producer is the great Smacksby. Snatch, who's out on the jammer line now?
So we have number 2-2, I think, for, I can't quite see them right now.
That's Mona Witch.
Yeah, we have Mona Witch for the Dolphins, and we have Wizzy for the Kingfishers. That's what I didn't recognize. Wizzy's first time with the star for the Kingfishers.
So the Kingfishers have now jammed 9 different skaters. Dolphins still worth getting a 10-jammer rotation. The 10-jammer rotation. Oh my God, what a luxury.
And Mona Witch heads into the pack on the apex, edges their hips past. Oh, what a lovely use of space there from Mona Witch.
All 5 points.
All players are on track. The pack's looking to reform into those walls to hold back the jammers. Mona Witch comes around at speed. Look at that. Oh, comes in. Does hit a skater.
Did we have legal contact or illegal contact? It looks like we have a skater heading to the penalty box.
I believe it wasn't on the jammer though, so all good. And we have Wizzy and Mona Witch in a jammer race now.
Yeah, just because the contact is spectacular does not necessarily mean it's illegal. You can throw some really vicious, well, not vicious, but brutal hard hits out here on the track. I say not malicious because it's nothing but love here in roller derby.
Speaking of malicious hits, we do have a clockwise block issued there to, I believe that's TNT of the Dolphins.
Yeah, watch out for TNT. That'll explode on you.
Oh, Narco.
Also a blocker to the penalty box for the Kingfishers.
And it looks like we've had a star pass, and that's to Kira Hess, a famous name in the Derby world. Their parents are huge on the Derby scene. John has one of the official photographers for a national team at this event. And so another skating family legend there. Oh, what a great hit to the out on Hess by number 6'6" of the Dolphins, Little Demon.
Hess, the captain of the Kingfishers.
Demon by name, demon by nature.
So the Dolphins improved their score by 10%, a 191 to 123. That 19-point jam for the Kingfishers, for the Dolphins. Kingfishers put up 5 points. 20 minutes left to play in the game. Penalty box has two skaters standing. Snatch, why are they standing?
So they're standing because that means that they have 10 seconds or fewer remaining on their penalty time. When they stand, it's a signal that they are ready to head back on track. However, if you do stand before your allocated time has expired or re-enter the track, then you'll be issued with another penalty.
Yeah, you'll get an illegal procedure. Out of the jammer lane, we have Wince Pie and Jammy Dodger. Wince Pie picking up lead jam for the Dolphins.
And very impressive feat against Jammy Dodger, who has had an excellent lead jammer record, but Mince Pie's birthday was the other day, so maybe it's some birthday luck.
There you go. Number 888 exhorting her teammates to go faster. That's No Limit, or to take the top of the pack. All blue at the top, all green at the back. The 5-second skate gear penalty box is empty. We have 80 wheels ablazing. Failure to reform at the back of the pack on green, number 162. That's May Cause Mayhem, heading to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
Oh, what a great hit out there. Oh, I think it is. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. TNT back off to the box on an elbows penalty. Did take Jammy Dodger down for a second, but they are back up and round for 4 more points.
Number 8, Abby, trying to signal to her jammer, pass me the star, pass me the star. But Wince Pie can't get to her.
This seems like a very long jam, even though we're only 1 minute 30 seconds in. Wince Pie is lead, but choosing to run this jam, maybe they are hoping to hit the century mark.
Just gave up that lead by removing the helmet cover, but passing it to number 8 because number 8 has an easier opportunity to clear that pack. And the new jammer is Abby for the Dolphins.
Well, the active jammer, not the lead right now, because they cannot be lead if they've received the star, but they are eligible to score points now.
My apologies, misspoke. Nice hip check at the back of the pack. Who was that? Green 162? Looked like that's May Cause Mayhem, forcing Abby to the outfield, and the jam expires after 2 minutes. Dolphins flirting with the 2-century mark, 195 to 132, still hanging under that 3-2 margin with 17.5 minutes left to play. What can you tell us about Fifth Blocker?
I can tell you that Fifth Blocker skates are skater owned and operated since 2011, Gallus, which is a Scottish word which means things I can't remember, but the Grace Maxby with his Scottish knowledge will tell me in a second.
Meanwhile, the Dolphins have High Velocity picking up lead jammer Salty Siggy on the line for the Kingfishers.
And I've just been told that Gallus means cocky or arrogant, and I don't think we're seeing arrogance on track as such, but we're certainly seeing aggression and adrenaline.
Kingfishers pass the start of Violent Vilda, and High Velocity still scoring.
Oh, but Violent Vilda is off to the box on a forearms penalty. You can't see that on your screen right now, but it does leave High Velocity of the Dolphins on a power jam. And the Dolphins have broken the double century mark, so this is another huge opportunity for them to edge out that lead.
Taking place off the screen, the jammer for the green team was sitting in the penalty box with the helmet cover on backwards, so quickly rectifies that. And is already back in play, have served their 30-second penalty. That's number 040 now jamming.
Oh, and a lovely little 1-foot skate on the inside there. Oh, they look very happy as they come around. You'll see them come back round into the pack. Just there on your screen now, 040.
19 points and counting. High Velocity might be looking to set that high score jam. Forearm penalty coming in from the outside. Who's leaving on the forearm? That is the blue pivot. Number 143, Marnie Muvova, the captain of the Dolphins. 24 points picked up. 4 points by the Kingfishers makes the score 219 to 136. The Dolphins do move over the 2-century mark. Where does that 24-point jam stack up against the other jams of the games, Maxby?
Just whilst Maxby finds that out, we had a lovely little moment there with Rollosaurus Rex and the Naki Boy on the jam line. Just a little fist bump, a little handshake, just showing that sports personship that is so critical to roller derby. Many of these players will know each other from previous bouts, and it is really a community sport and a great opportunity to make friends. You can lay it all out on track. You can be as aggressive as you like.
As Maxby indicates, that is the new highest score of the game, that 24-point jam that was just put up.
And we got a lovely little moment there where the Naki Boy was actually helping Zebra, their referee, to just say that was a no pass, no penalty. So I passed the skaters while they were down, so I'm okay there. Zebra is a very young referee, so it's a great opportunity for them to ref this kind of high exposition game. But just Naki Boy just helping out a little bit there.
Naki Boy was forced to the infield, re-engaged, is already back into the pack, heading into turn number 3.
And Rollosaurus Rex encountering a couple of blockers up front.
Naki Boy picks up a back block, so this is a power jam and lead jam for Rollosaurus Rex.
That took a while for that lead jam to be picked up.
Indeed, a minute and change before a lead jam was established.
And don't forget, it's players that the jammers have to escape the pack cleanly and in bounds in order to be awarded lead jammer status, and that is sometimes a very difficult thing to do when the game is as challenging as this. Lovely little toe stop work there, and goodness me, Rollosaurus Rex is getting the crowd up and fired up in English.
5 points for the Kingfishers. Dolphins shut out for the first time in a while, 219 to 141. Still roughly, now it's more of a 4-3 margin. We are at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester, England. We have no stoppage of play. Briefly saw the bench coach out on the track, but no stoppage of play. Out on the jammer line, number 10 for the green team. Now we have a stoppage of play.
That was the first scoreless jam of the second period for the Dolphins. And given that we are about to head into jam 9, that is pretty impressive. So huge shout out there to the Kingfishers for holding the Dolphins scoreless. 219 to 219 plays, 141 for the Kingfishers.
This 2018 Roller Derby World Cup is sponsored by Rainy City Roller Derby. We're here at the Event Center in Manchester, England. The first time the Roller Derby World Cup has taken place outside of the North American continent. So European Roller Derby World Cup for the first time ever.
And just while we're in this timeout, I'd like to take the chance to tell you about Strong Athletic. Strong Athletic believes that every human has the right to celebrate their strength, play sports, be active, find their power, speak their voice, and be seen. You can check them out at strongathletic.com. At Strong Athletic, we believe that athleticism and strength are so much more than what is seen in the mainstream. What is your Strong Athletic story? Share it at strongathletic.com.
And just when we were talking about those scoreless jams, 2 points have been put back on the board, so it was not, after all, a scoreless jam. 221 to 141. Boy, those got to be some math that we could do there. They might both be prime numbers.
Math is hard. Derby is hard, math is hard. Let's give the people at home some easier stuff to think about.
If you want to comment on social media, we would love to hear from you. It's a 1.56737.589 margin. Okay.
Thanks, Maxby. That's still not math I understand. That's great. That's fine.
Only jammer on the track right now is number 10 for the green team. That is Jamalish. I think that the Naki Boy snatch over there in the 5-second skate gear penalty box. It is?
It is, and they are standing, indicating 10 seconds or fewer remaining on their penalty, but it is a power start for Jamalish, who is going to demolish the pack. I'm glad I got that one in before my announcing career is over.
Jamalish shined on that pass.
I mean, I would be really remiss if I didn't put that
in,
right?
What an apex leap. Sorry to cut you off, but that was a great leap by the Naki Boy to complete the initial pass.
Never apologize for cutting me off when the apex jump is that good.
big hit at the back of the pack.
Oh, that is a big hit. Now that we're just gonna take a few seconds to check that out.
Coaches are coming. We do have emergency medical technicians as well. That is a necessary contingent for every roller derby game. You have to have at least 2 emergency medical technicians.
And we do love them so very much for coming out to us, because roller derby is a full contact sport. It is a risk sport. That doesn't make it any less valuable as a sport, though.
What can you tell us about Cheese Ball's precision skate bearings?
Oh, I can tell you that they are the original hand-prepared skate bearing. They're available in-house if you are coming to the World Cup this evening at the Quad Skate Shop booth or online. It's easy being cheesy. Cheese Ball bearings are now lactose-free. They are available in-house at the Quad Skate Shop booth or online.
Good copy.
Roll on cheesy goodness. Rolling cheese balls. I mean, I'm a vegan, so anything that's lactose-free and dairy-free, like, I will take those.
Heck yeah. Crowd is full here at the Event Center in Manchester, England. 12 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the game. 222 points for the Dolphins, 145 points for the Kingfishers. 1 point picked up by the Dolphins on that last set of whistles. 4 points picked up by the Kingfishers. If you're looking at the screen in the middle bar, on the far left of the middle bar, it says J9. That refers to the jam number. We're in jam number 9 of the second half. What do you have for us, Snatch?
I've got some stats for you. So far in this half, the Dolphins have had 5 leads. The Kingfishers have had 4. The Kingfishers have had 2 jammer penalties. The Dolphins have had 1. And the Dolphins are currently on a 3 lead jammer streak.
The Dolphins have not used any of their timeouts. The Kingfishers used 1 timeout in the first period, have not used any timeouts this period. This timeout is not charged to either team. This is an official timeout, and it's because there was a down skater on the track. You got to stop the clock, and you got to make sure that everything gets attended to. Not fair to really penalize one team or another for that. So 1 point to 4 on that last set of whistles. Everybody seems to be ready to go out on the track.
So let's bring you a score update for this half. The Dolphins still out in front. They have scored 98 points this half, with the Kingfishers scoring 65. So not a huge differential to make up, but the Dolphins still holding strong. The Kingfishers are going to send Jamie Dodger to the line, and they will be up against number 261 from the Dolphins. That's Misty Roller.
The 5-second skate gear penalty box is empty. Oh, look at that. Just like shot out of a gun on that inside line. Jamie Dodger picks up lead jammer, but less than 2 strides behind is Misty Roller.
And a lovely jammer race there. Jamie Dodger was out the pack with some great offense, but Misty Roller comes in hot to that wall of green. Is going to make it through for 4 points.
Green losing 2 skaters to that penalty box. One of them is number 47 on a multiplayer block. I didn't see the call on the earlier skater, but that's Maleficent to the penalty box on a multiplayer. 4 points picked up, 226 to 145, 11 and a half minutes left to play in the game. Out on the jammer line now, number 01 is TNT on the blue team. Number 934 is Nutter on the green team. Oh, we did have a brief stoppage of play, an official timeout, but we're back and rolling.
Well, not rolling just yet, but very soon, very soon. A lovely little close-up on your screen there.
Wait for it. You see the jammer sticking there. You see the jam timer. That's the official at the top of your screen on the infield wearing the black T-shirt, and they're holding all 5 digits out spread. That's to warn the track that there's 5 seconds left to play. Blue blocker number 66 heads to the penalty box. That's Little Demon on a forearm.
Oh, wow, what great footwork there from TNT, just dodging around to pick up leads. You can't see that on your screen right now, but they will be re-entering the pack very shortly. In the meantime, Nutter out of the pack, not lead, but eligible to score. TNT comes through for 4 points.
Green losing another skater to the penalty box on a direction of play.
Nutter coming round there on your screen. Skates past 1, 2, 3. I think they will pick up 2 points on that pass.
Nice job by Mad Drow blocking the jammer to the infield and forcing the call off. 4 points for the Dolphins, 2 points for the Kingfishers, 230 to 147. A 83-point lead. Number 8 for the blue team is Abby. Number 10 for the green team is Jamalish. One skater in the 5-second skate gear penalty box. Otherwise, teams are at full strength. Blue is going to take the top of the pack. Green is going to take the back. Here we go.
And I could be wrong mentioning this. I will try and clarify it for you, but I believe this may be Abby's last junior derby bout. I believe they will age out, is the terminology in roller derby, because they will be turning 18 soon. I could be wrong. I know one of the players is about to age out, but what a great way to start or to finish your junior roller derby career here at the Roller Derby World Cup 2018 in Manchester.
Jamalish did pick up lead jam, but calls it off. Didn't like the look of things, so 0-0 on that last set of whistles. That might be our first scoreless jam in the second half, and it is.
And we're going to see 5-7 for the Dolphins lineup on the jammer line. That is Boneshaw, I believe, their first jam for the Dolphins, and they're up against a veteran of the track in this game, Rollosaurus Rex.
The Kingfishers did lose their pivot on an out of play. That's Lady Macbeth in the 5-second skate gear penalty box. Dolphins also with one skater in the penalty box, so the packs are even.
Oh, what super. Oh no. Rollosaurus Rex is called on a forearm. You will see that on your screen that they will be on the outside of the track skating to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
So lead is still open. We've got a directional play called on number 342, High Velocity.
And Boneshaw on their first jam for the Dolphins does pick up lead, and it is a power opportunity for the Dolphins.
Mix of blue and green jerseys at the top apex. Sometimes the first apex is referred to the top, and the second apex is referred to as the bottom. 5 points being indicated, I believe.
Oh, and I think the reason we've stopped play is that I think we have an injured skater. So we will just take some time whilst the EMTs see to that skater to tell you about Revele Contact Wear. Revele is the leading tech performance equipment for women in contact sports. The Revelia is a bust and shoulder protection for women. It was awarded at ISPO, the world's largest sports and innovation fair in the world. Start the revolution, the first brand for women in contact sports. ReveleContactwear.com. Hashtag make an impact. I will just spell Revele for you, which is R-E-V-E-L-E. So for ReveleContactwear.com, R-E-V-E-L-E contactwear.com.
The first E has an accent grave, and the second E has an accent aigu. Revele.
Thank you. I can barely speak English, never mind French. We can also tell you about... I'm going to remind you again, actually, of the Girls on Track Foundation, because it is such an awesome organization. Did you know that by age 14, girls are dropping out of sports at twice the rate of boys? We think roller derby can help change that stat. You can learn more at girlsontrackfoundation.org. And if there's something to inspire you to do that, what better than this game? Of course, as I said before, the roller derby is open to all genders. It is a women's established sport, and the majority of its players are still women, and it's very much a women-centric sport, but it is completely gender inclusive.
So very inclusive, and there's men's roller derby out there. If you're a man and you want to get involved with women's or juniors, there's a place for you. You can coach, you can referee, you can be a non-skating official, any sort of officiating.
You could be an announcer.
You can be an announcer. You can volunteer in any number of capacities. Get involved with roller derby. Roller derby is a sport that can change the world. It already has. So the crowd reacted. That big cheer you had was when the skater was able to get up on their feet and back to their bench. The crowd appreciative that the injury was not grave.
So now we have lining up on a power start for the Dolphins. I can't quite see the number right now. I think it is number 7, Mad Drow. Again, another new jammer to the start line.
That's 11 for 11 skaters. The only skaters, put it this way, the only skaters who haven't jammed for the Dolphins initially, some of them have received the star, but the only ones who haven't started initially are Roller Girl, Boneshaw, Little Demon, Skolabel, Serial Killer, and Tilda End.
And I think actually Boneshaw did have one jam, so a great opportunity for all these players to take the star. And Rollosaurus Rex back on track, having re-entered at the start of that jam from the penalty box.
The penalty box was empty, but just as soon as I said that, out of play penalty was assessed to the Nacky boy. So one blue blocker in the penalty box. And Madrow hits it, quits it, calls off the jam. Well, hits it and hits it again. A 5-point pass, a 4-point pass, 239 to 147 in favor of the Dolphins. 7 minutes and change left here in the game. You are at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester, England. Sponsored or hosted by Rainy City Roller Derby. Very, very happy with the hosting done by Rainy City. They have been the most cordial hosts one could possibly wish for. Snatch, who's out there on the jammer line?
It's Jammy Dodger, and it's number 3, Wince Pie. And the pack really stuck. Haven't even reached the pivot line yet. Jammy Dodger takes the out. Oh, goodness me, that toe stop work. What a great last-minute hit out. Oh, no, but it is Abby off to the penalty box. Jammy Dodger is lead jammer.
Huge hit, but out of play when it was delivered. So has to go to the penalty box, and Jammy Dodger does not have to go back. Once you've committed the penalty, you're considered to be out of play, and they don't have. So you're not advancing your position by continuing.
Jammy Dodger just has the most gorgeous smile on their face as they come round for 5 points. They are loving every second of this bout. Oh, and there's a reason why. Look at him go.
As we all are.
It's just a fantastic game to see. So Jammy Dodger really showing their speed and skills right now as they re-engage with the pack coming into turn 2.
Some separation between the packs, but each team dedicating one blocker to keep everybody in play. Track cut being indicated. Who's it on?
Oh, that is on the Nacky boy, who is off to the box.
To serve 30 seconds. Initial pass completed by Wince Pie.
Great tenacity there from Wince Pie. You know, a minute and a half elapsed before they get out the pack, but they still keep going. Jammy Dodger, however, going to deny Wince Pie the opportunity to score, calls off the jam, gets big high fives from their team.
20-point jam for the Kingfishers. That is the medicine they need. Scoreboard showing a 15-point, but I don't think it's been updated.
And with just over 5 minutes left in this game, I'm quite confident in saying that it would take something fairly miraculous for the Kingfishers to make up this deficit, but
I believe in miracles.
Stranger things have happened in roller derby, and they are going to send, the Kingfishers are going to send the captain, Hess, to the jam line against 1-4-3, the captain for Dolphins, Marnie Move Over, who picks up leads. So it's the battle of the captains. Kira Hess, or Mini Hess as they are affectionately known in the derby world, racing around. Marnie Move Over coming in for a scoring pass. Fighting at the back of the pack. Kira Hess pushing up front. Two to beat.
All blue at the top, all green at the back, now starting to mix. Multiplayer is the call on the pivot, high velocity for the Dolphins. They'll take a 30-second seat in the 5-second skate gear penalty box. 4 points picked up on that pass by Marnie Muvova.
And great tenacity there from Hess at the back.
And that is a 4-point pass for Hess as well. Each captain scoring 4.
And the pack reforming coming into the top apex. Hess comes around with a smile on their face. Jam is whistled. Goodness me, what a lovely thing to see with the captains of the respective teams taking the stars.
Dolphins pick up 7 points. Kingfishers pick up 4. The score is 2-4-6 to 1-6-6. If you are just turning in, you have missed most of an excellent junior exposition bout here at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester, England. We are at Event City, and we are having a blast at this junior expo. Are we not, Golden Snatch?
It is the only way to spend a Sunday. I wish I could do this every weekend, although I think I might need significantly more coffee. We have 6-6 on the jam line for Dolphins, so that is Little Demon. I think this is their second jam. Oh, nearly makes it on the in, but drawn back.
Also, Lady Macbeth forced to the infield. Both jammers were forced out of play, had to re-engage from the back of the pack. Now a little bit of separation coming up. Number 31 for the blue team, and that's Monowich, trying to draw a cut track. You saw that's why they skated all the way to the back, but no call given, so they quickly rejoined the pack. Got a forearm penalty on green number 5. That is Blondie to the 5-second skate gear penalty box.
Lead yet to be assessed with a minute. Oh, I speak too soon. With 40 minutes elapsed, Lady Macbeth does pick up lead for the Kingfishers, but Little Demon also out of the pack now.
Nice team blocking.
Well, it is a team sport. We love team blocking. Oh, speaking of
Jenga on the
team
backstretch.
blocking.
Down
Great,
they all go.
great tenacity there from Lady Macbeth, up and at him right away. And Little Demon round again. Pack reforms. Oh, we have
got
a
equipment malfunction for number 162.
Yeah, a bit of a skate malfunction there. I think it's the toe snout that is just
The toe cover.
the toe cover. And a cut track issued to Lady Macbeth, who takes it a while to realize. In the meantime, we are seeing a star pass to Monowich.
We also have a jammer penalty. The green jammer, Lady Macbeth, heading to the penalty box on a track cut.
Oh, lovely little apex jump there from Monowich. Oh, but a last minute hit out.
Oh no. Blondie tried to draw the track cut but was skating backwards out of bounds, so the jammer could come right in.
Roller derby is great, but it's difficult.
Lots of rules.
So many rules.
Hey, I
but
tell you what, I could not do it. This is the best I could do is announce and officiate. If you want to announce and officiate, you should do so too.
I mean, I do it, and it's hard. Announcing gives me a rest. Let me just really quickly tell you about Blood and Thunder, whose belief is life's better on roller skates. You can visit them at bloodandthundermag.com for roller derby inspired apparel, and they have provided some fantastic merchandise for us at the World Cup. We are in a timeout.
There are 37 seconds left to play in this game. The
Oh
Dolphins
my goodness,
picked up 8.
when did that happen?
I know, right?
I swear a minute ago it was the start of the second half.
The Dolphins picked up 8 that last set of whistles. The Kingfishers picked up 6. The score is 254 to 172. I'm Bobby Narco, joined by the Golden Snatch and our most excellent producer, the great Smaxby.
He's okay. He's been providing us with great stats, and but you don't get to hear his dulcet Scottish tones. You get me, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
They did get to hear his dulcet Scottish tones for about one jam in the second to start the second half.
And then I took him away from you. I do apologize, viewers at home. He's much more calming to listen to than me.
Oh, big frown.
Oh,
we would love to thank Derby Duck Productions. They're doing an excellent job bringing us the stream for the whole weekend, all 4 days of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
Oh, we're seeing a lovely little ref dance there in the middle with Zebra and Rourke. I mean, there's a lot of dancing in roller derby for something which is a contact sport on roller skates. We dance a lot.
Here's another way you can volunteer. They were dancing and showing off for that photographer. Roller derby always looking for photographers. They make the skaters look so good. If that's in your skill set, if that's in your toolkit, that's another way you can help us out. One jammer in the penalty box, one jammer on the track.
And it is Abby with the star and now the lead for Dolphins. And I do hope it is Abby for whom this will be their last bout, because what a way to end it. They will run out this game as lead jammer unless they incur a penalty. Oh, but they land the most perfect apex jump that I have ever seen almost. Like, oh my goodness, I have lost all of my words. Great chase down there by Wince Pie at the front, but Lady Macbeth is out at the pack. Abby comes
Going backwards around turn number 3, like a Wallenda on a tightrope.
That was sheer and utter perfection, and what a better way to end the game.
9-point pass, unofficial final score, 263 to 172. Oh my goodness,
Oh
what a
my
great
goodness.
finish to this Junior Expo at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
We could not hope for better, really, and these people are the future of roller derby. We are so privileged to have announced for them. Such a joy to see. If you are still on stream, don't go anywhere. We have the semi-final of England versus Canada coming up, and later on, of course, the grand final, USA versus Australia. You would be a fool to switch yourselves off.
Oh, and now look at this. The Dolphins are all heading out to the infield, and they are
They are worshipping
kneeling
the
and
officials.
showing their gratitude to the officials. What a great show of solidarity. They will have a victory lap very soon. Now the Kingfishers following suit, joining their opponents on the infield, showing respect and admiration for the officials. If you're looking on the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you can see Team Canada getting ready to skate, but they want to get in on the Derby love. So on behalf of the Golden Snatch, and our producer, The Great Gatsby, this is Bobby Narco wishing you peace, love, and a roller derby.